What's up, everybody? Let's Talk Jets Radio. Apologies for the poor video quality driving home from the game. Another depressing scene at MetLife. And I know what a lot of the analysis is going to be just from having the radio turned on for about 20 minutes before I cooled down a little bit to do this video. I can only imagine what all the comments were in the chat. I'm sure there's a lot of praise for this team for not giving up, for fighting back after being down 17-0. You know, for Zach Wilson having, a game of his life, going toe-to-toe with Mahomes. There's a lot of good things if you want to cherry pick and find some positives and a reason to be optimistic going forward for the rest of the year. But the reality is that the Jets are 1-3, and the biggest reason they were held back from winning this game, in my opinion, was coaching. And you come out of the game and you give up 17 points on your first 3 drives on defense. And for whatever reason, I don't understand it. It seems like this defense, week after week, it's becoming a theme now that they just come out flat. And I don't understand why they refuse to blitz. The Chiefs were sending a few extra rushers plenty of times when Zach was dropping back. I don't know why Saleh has been so afraid to do it. He hardly ever blitzed at all last year, and it's kind of been the same thing early on this year where he just refuses to send extra guys. And the guys that we are sending haven't been getting a ton of pressure, although it did get better as the game went on. I can't really sit here and blame either side of the ball. Like, as a defense, you give up 23 points to the Chiefs and Mahomes. Yeah, you should win, but that 23, if they needed to, obviously, they could have tacked on another 7 at the end if it was necessary. But the biggest problem for me also, just sticking with the defense first, and then I'll get to the offense. The biggest problem, I think, with the defense remains the fact, aside from the slow starts, that they cannot get off the field on third downs. I don't know what it is, but especially on that final drive, after Zach fumbled, you had about 8.5 minutes to try to give the ball back to your offense with a chance to go win the game, and they couldn't do it. 3rd and 23, 3rd and 20, and then the final one on 3rd and 9, letting Mahomes get outside the pocket, giving him the entire middle of the field to run without a quarterback spy. Some of these things I just don't really understand. They play so soft. They sit in this zone. And, Mahomes was able to pick them apart early on. You give him credit again for adjusting and only giving up 6 points the rest of the way. But like I said, if they needed to, they absolutely had that touchdown on that final drive. So it was probably closer to 30. And if you're expecting to be a top defense, I think you got to do better than that, especially at the start of the game, to, kind of feel like you're still in it. Because it felt like it was an uphill battle after that first quarter. And it was. For all the good things that the Jets were doing, they outplayed the Chiefs for about 2.5 quarters after, those initial couple drives, and it was still like, all right, we're still trying to make a comeback. We're still trying to just get it even. And you give them some credit, the solid decision on 4th and 1. I'll never understand that. There's a lot of things when I look at with this game, to me, that just came down to coaching, having a bit more of a sense of urgency to go out there and take it. Offensively, again, you give credit to Zach. I'm not going to go overboard with it, because at the end of the day, he played a game of his life going toe-to-toe with Mahomes, and we only put up 20 points. The offense still started slow. He got in a rhythm there early on, in the second quarter, and then into the third quarter, came out of the half slinging it. I think the big turning point was that that catch from Allen Lazard, where he came back to the football, probably one of those balls where, when it's up in the air for a second, you're like, why did he throw that? And Lazard just makes a great play on the football. They were featuring Garrett Wilson a lot more today. They got Conklin involved, which was good. The running game kind of disappeared for a while until that big run from Breece Hall. So, you can give Hackett some credit for at least trying to open things up. They did the end around with Gibson. They tried the flea flicker, although that one just completely blew up. So you give them some credit for trying some things. And I think more than anything now, you can kind of look at Zach and say, at least have the question at least. I'm not saying this is the answer or what the answer is, but you can at least have the question now. Has this coaching staff been holding him back? Because you saw him make some throws today that were friggin' impressive. And again, I'm not going to go overboard with it. I'm not going to say he should be the starter for the rest of the year. Oh my God, look at this potential. We got to roll with it. No, because ultimately, if he goes out there and shits the bed against Denver, you're still going to have the finger pointing game going on. So, you want to take it for what it is. This was a good start for him. But it's all the more reason why I wish he wasn't playing this year. Why I wish he didn't have to deal with the ups and downs, and having a locker room that's win now, looking at him and saying, you got to be better. And today he was. Tonight he was. Tonight he was everything that the Jets needed to give them a chance to win. Unfortunately, like I said, the defense started slow. They gave him 2 extra possessions with the 2 interceptions. You give them a ton of credit for how they played in the second and third quarters on both sides of the ball, really. But that final drive, the fumble is inexcusable. You're down 3 points. You got a chance to at least tie it, if not go ahead. That was inexcusable. You got to be able to protect the football, especially late. And then, again, for the defense not to be able to get off the field, 3rd and 23, 3rd and 20, 3rd and 9. There's just no excuse for it. So, I look at this coaching staff, in particular Saleh right now, and I legitimately wonder if he's the guy. I just don't see enough unless you have an Aaron Rodgers type of quarterback that's going to carry you and make up for some of your mistakes. I just don't think he's the guy. I mean, does it mean that we got to tear things down and start completely over again? I know what all the reports were saying before the game tonight, the report from Rossini, but, I don't think any Jet fan wants to go through another rebuild unless it's completely necessary. I just think there's a lot of red flags that continue to pop up with Saleh, where you look at the defense, which is supposed to be, what he specializes in, and you just wonder, why is it not better? Why are they not more aggressive? They've got so much talent on the defensive side of the ball, yet they can't seem to put it together. And you can blame the refs too. I mean, if you want to throw the refs in there for the holding call on Sauce, when there were plenty of opportunities to throw some more flags against the Chiefs for holding, it is what it is. I hate putting games on the refs. At the end of the day, Sauce did kind of grab the jersey. At that point in the game, I thought that was a weak call. But again, don't put yourself in that position. Don't put yourself in that position. So, a lot to digest from this one. Clearly a lot of good. Mosley had the 1 interception, should have had 2. It's hard to look at positives for me. It really is. I'm not. When your team is 1-3 and you entered this season, finally touting having a quarterback and thinking that you're going to have a chance to do something special. And now we're still playing this roller coaster game with Zach, where, tonight, I don't need to harp on the fumble. Kid played a great game. It was more than anything you could ask for on national television, on the big stage. He went toe-to-toe with Mahomes. You give him tons of credit for that. But at the end of the day, it's got to be consistent, and you still got to protect the football, especially when it matters late. And as great of a game as he played, the offense still put up 20 points. The offense still put up 20 points. So, and 2 of those were on a safety. 2 of those were on a safety. So, if it sounds like I'm nitpicking, I'm not trying to. I'm definitely impressed with what we saw from the kid today. I just don't know if it's enough, at least to make this season count, or at least to make this season mean something down the stretch. And more importantly, like I've been saying probably 5 times already in this video, the coaching staff, especially Saleh and the defensive side of the ball, there is way too much talent on this defense to be coming out flat in all these games. And when you have an opportunity to get off the field, especially on 3rd and long, it's one thing if it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, I get it. They still get picked apart in that soft zone anyway. But 3rd and 23, 3rd and 20, 3rd and 9 with the game on the line after Mahomes just did what he did, running up and down your defense that entire drive, you don't have a plan for that. These are the little things that just worry me about Saleh, that kind of make me feel like I said, unless he has a Super Bowl caliber quarterback that can make up for what his defense often lacks, I just don't know if he's ever going to be the guy. And like I said, the 4th and 1 situation, and hearing his excuse after the game too, well, we would have played for a field goal anyway. I'm like, some of this stuff that he says just really, really doesn't make any sense. And it is what it is. The Jets are 1-3, and we'll be live tomorrow night. So talk to you guys later.